So in this video, I just want to go through a few keyword ideas for roofing companies in Berkshire and Reading, around that kind of area. So if we come over here to Google Keyword Planner, what I've done, I've already inputted a few areas, and I just want to talk through a few of these search terms, a few of these keywords. So obviously you've got search terms such as roofing Reading and roofing Slough. Uh, being, the bigger cities in this area, within the Berkshire area, these are obviously going to have a lot more volume. There's going to be a lot more demand, just kind of, due to population. And so going after these keywords, the competition is going to be higher than with other areas. And if you compare this to, roofing Crowthorne and roofing Sandhurst, let's just go back here to the map. So obviously Reading, much bigger area. Slough, also a big area. Then Crowthorne and Sandhurst. Now, note that these are not that far from each other, and they are obviously much smaller. But, Sandhurst, 30 searches a month, Crowthorne, 50. And although these are a lot less, almost 10 times less, what I think you'll find is that if you go after these search terms, the competition is going to be a lot less. So therefore, it's going to be easier to get, within the top half of page one on Google, if not, within the top three spots. I mean, get into the top number one spot. It's not going to be that difficult. There's not going to be a lot of competition. With a properly optimized page, you're going to be able to do this. And then if you do get into that spot, you're going to get a big chunk of these 30 search terms every month. So let's say you get a third. I think the top spot, it gets around a third to a half of all these searches, and then number two and number three, they also get a lot, and then obviously it gets less and less as you get down the page. And then once you get onto page two, you're not really getting any clicks at all. It's almost all going to the first page of Google, and the bulk is going to go to, the top three spots. So let's say you get to the top three spots and you get 10 clicks a month, even if it's five clicks a month, let's say, and this is for the search term roofing Sandhurst. So you're getting 5 clicks a month from that keyword, and it's not been overly difficult to get that. It does take time, and you do need to implement good SEO strategies. But let's say you do all that, and then after a few months, you start getting, 5 clicks a month. That's going to be obviously 60 clicks per year, which, if you've got your page set up, because bearing in mind, each of these keywords, you're gonna build a specific location page, a specific landing page, whatever you want to call it, one page that's dedicated for that keyword. So you have one for roofing Sandhurst, one for roofing Slough, and so on. And so on this page, roofing Sandhurst, let's say it's set up and you're getting, a reasonable conversion rate, nothing crazy. I think you can usually expect to get between 1 to 5%, which, that's not bad. That's not bad. So you're getting 60 search terms a month. You've got a 5%, a landing page that's converting at 5%. Quick maths. That's going to be what? That's going to be 3 clicks, 3 inquiries per year. So 60 clicks per year, converting at 5%. Those clicks, bear in mind, a conversion in this case will be counted as an inquiry. So 3 of them are going to go on and fill out the contact form and send an inquiry. And let's say just one of them turns into a client of those 3 inquiries. And bear in mind, this is going to be highly targeted traffic. These can be what we call bottom of the funnel. They're not going onto Google to do research. These keywords, they've got intent. They're looking for a roofing company. So you're going to be able to convert a high percentage of them into customers. Once they become inquiries, you're going to be able to convert those inquiries into customers a much higher percentage of the time than obviously blog traffic, which would be much, much, much lower. So that would be, potentially one new customer per year from just this one page. That, in my mind, is most definitely worth it. If you're building out an SEO campaign, it's definitely worth going after these kind of low-hanging fruit keywords. Obviously, the kind of more time and energy will be spent on these, roof and Reading, because if you manage to crack this one, it's going to be a lot more inquiries. And so these kind of high volume keywords, it's definitely worth, investing more time and energy trying to rank for these. But because these ones are so easy, because less people optimizing their websites for SEO that are roofers, less time will be spent actually going after these keywords, if at all. So if you go after these kind of keywords, Crowthorne as well, make a list and go after all these kind of keywords. And when you add all of them together, you're going to find that these low hanging fruit keywords bring in a good amount of traffic, a good amount of inquiries, and a good amount of customers, year on year. And obviously, you combine these low hanging fruit with these more high volume keywords, and you've got quite a comprehensive SEO strategy. I mean, these, I've only got a few keywords here, really. What have I got? I've got 6 keywords. I mean, if I was to do this, build this out as a proper campaign, I'd spend enough time really kind of going through the area. Obviously, I'd need to work with the client's catchment area. They're going to have a service area and they don't really want to go outside of that. So it's no good, for example, if there's great opportunities all around here, but your client, they're just not going to go that far out. They want to get, within a certain catchment area, within, 45 minutes drive from wherever their lockup is or whatnot. That's where you want to do the keyword research, but it's worth spending the time and really drilling down into these smaller kind of towns and even villages and seeing, what is the search volume. It's always worth just coming in here, plugging it in. I always do it because, like I mentioned, adding up all this low-hanging fruit, it really does make a difference. And this is how you can get a much better ROI for the money you spend on SEO. I mean, it's not so simple as just, building these pages. You're going to want to adhere to all the, good SEO practices, all the SEO ranking factors, everything that Google's going to want to see when it crawls your site. But just to give you an idea, there really is a good amount of volume out there if you really do your research, and don't be put off by these lower numbers. In fact, if anything, you should get excited about these numbers because, this can be where some of the money's at. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you for watching.